All right, guys, today is a special day. Today is St. Patrick's Day. In celebration of St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be reading St. Patrick's Day by Gail Gibson. Just kidding, we're not reading it. Hey guys, this is Mr. Sherman, and I'm Miss Kasiyama, and you are watching Miss K Teaches Math during the school closure.
Tries to teach math.
Oh my god, you're the worst. All right, guys. Today, what we are going to do is... All right, hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well and are staying safe. But I'm going to give you guys some notes on elimination, which we left off on with our systems. And then I'll post some homework assignments for you guys to work on this week. But in case you guys don't remember, elimination was one of our ways to solve systems. What we were looking to do was to eliminate either X or Y. And in the two examples we saw last week, one of the terms is already ready to cancel out. So I'll go ahead and do a review example for you. And then I'll talk about some things that we'll see that we're going to make those problems just a little bit more challenging. So go ahead and follow along, or maybe you want to write it down. But let's go ahead and we'll start with an example. So for example, what we left off on was maybe something like this. Let's say we had the system 2x plus 2y is equal to 4. And then let's say we have negative 2x minus 7y is equal to negative 9. All right, and what I had asked you guys was we were looking to cancel either x or y. And so hopefully in this example you see that 2x and then minus 2x are going to cancel each other out. All right, from there what we were left with is this big adding problem. So we're combining. So if I look at my y's, I have 2y plus negative 7y. So if I combine those, that would give me negative 5y is equal to 4 plus negative 9. And again, watch those signs. That's going to be negative 5. All right, and then we were solving. So to isolate y here, we would divide by negative 5 on both sides. And here we would end up with y is equal to 1. All right, but remember there's two parts to this problem. We needed to figure out what was x and y. We were looking for that point that they have in common. And so to do that, what you do is you go back to one of your original problems. So you can either go back to the first one, or again, you can go to the second one, and they'll both give you the same answer. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go with the first one. So this case, you're plugging back into 2x plus 2y is equal to 4. And again, what you're going to do is you're going to use that point that we already have, that y equals 1, and plug that in. So 2x plus 2 times 1 is equal to 4. So 2x plus 2 is equal to 4. And then remember what's happening is we're solving for x, just like we did with our y. So isolate x. So x doesn't move. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. 2x is equal to 2. Solve for x, and then x here would be equal to 1. All right, and then hopefully you guys remember how we represent that answer though. So remember we write it as that xy point. So in this case, x was 1 and y was 1. So our final answer here would be 1, 1. And again, that just represents the point that they have in common. All right, so that's what we looked at. I'm going to give you guys some examples, though, of problems that don't cancel out right away and that you're going to have to manipulate a little bit to do so. So let's go ahead and we'll look at another example. All right. right, let's say that this time we're working with the system. Let's do 4x plus 3y is equal to 8. And then let's do x minus 2y is equal to 13. All right, so notice here the difference with this problem is that none of the terms cancel out right away. I have 4x and x. So here's 4x and x. And those aren't the same, so they don't cancel. On this one, I have 3y and negative 2y. And so same thing, they're not the same yet, so they don't cancel. So what you want to do actually is you're actually going to have to change one of the problems. So first you need to determine which term you want to cancel. And in this case, I'm actually going to say it's going to be easier to cancel out 4x. One of my problems is already 4x. What I would have to do is change the second one. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to multiply this problem by negative 4. Let me show you why. So again, the first problem we said doesn't change. 4x plus 3y is equal to 8. That's going to stay the same. But the second one, by multiplying it by negative 4, so x times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 2y times negative 4 is going to be a positive 8y. So remember, take those signs. Is equal to 13 times negative 4. So again, you can use your calculator or you can calculate that on your own. In this case, you end up getting negative 52. All right, but hopefully what you see by multiplying by that negative 4, it changes that second equation. And then now I have something that I can cancel. I have 4x and negative 4x. And so that's going to let me cancel that out. All right, remember it is a big adding problem here. So now I have 3y plus 8y is going to be 11y is equal to, and I have this negative 52 plus 8, which is going to give me negative 44. All right, same thing, solve for y. So you're going to divide by 11 on both sides. So here y is equal to negative 4. All right, and also same thing. We need two answers here. So you can go ahead and plug into any of the equations. So you can plug into your original equation here. You can plug into your second equation here. Or you can even plug into your newly rewritten equation here. They're all going to give you the same answer. So that's going to be kind of personal choice for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and pick the first equation though, just because it looks the easiest to plug back into. So 4x plus 3y is equal to 8. I'm going to plug in my y equals negative 4. So 4x plus 3 times negative 4 is equal to 8. 4x minus 12 is equal to 8. Again, just like we did before, you are solving for x. So x does not move, but you do need to move over that second term. So do the opposite, add 12. And then you get 4x is equal to 20. Solve this, x is equal to 5. So in that ordered pair, final answer here would be 5 and negative 4. All right. Okay, let's take a look at another example just so again you guys kind of get the hang of this. And then we will talk about some last things that will hopefully get you through the notes then or the homework for this week. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move this up. All right, let's look at, let's say, this problem. Let's say we have 8x minus 5y is equal to 11. And let's say we have 8x minus 6y is equal to 10. All right, so again, same thing. We want to cancel either x or y. Now remember, to cancel out something, it has to be opposite. So what I'm first actually going to point out to you is this. We're going to want to cancel the x's. They're the same. But notice that it's positive 8x and positive 8x. Those are not going to cancel out. So they actually have to be opposite signs. And so what you would want to do in this case is you do need to change one of them. How we're going to change one of them is we're going to actually multiply it by a negative, or a -1. All right, so by doing that, that's going to give me negative 8x plus 5y, and then is equal to negative 11. So remember that negative is going to every term here. So watch for that. All right, second equation is going to stay the same. 8x minus 6y is equal to 10. And then again from here, remember it is a giant adding problem. All right, so now notice this negative 8x and positive 8x, they're opposite, so those cancel each other out. All right, combine your terms. I have 5y plus negative 6y. So 5 plus negative 6 gives me -1, or -1y, is equal to, and then here I have negative 11 plus positive 10, -1. All right, again, I'm going to point out to you guys, watch out for that negative variable here. We do want to get rid of it, so divide by -1, so that cancels out the negatives. Watch for that double negative, so y is going to be equal to a +1 here. All right, and then again, when you're plugging back in, you can go with the original, you can go with the second equation here, or you can go with the newly rewritten equation, all of which will again give you the same answer. I'm going to go with the original just because, again, it looks like less work for me. It's equal to 11. You're going to plug in that value that you just found of 1. 8x minus 5 times 1 is equal to 11. 8x minus 5 is equal to 11. Solve for x here. You end up with 8x is equal to 16. Take the final steps to divide here, so x is equal to 2. So final answer here would be the ordered pair 2, 1 that they have in common. All right, so make sure if you have questions, comment them below. I'll do another example though, like I said, so you guys can see, and then I think that'll be it. All right. Here is another example. Let's go ahead and do 11x minus 20y is equal to 28. And let's do 4y plus 3x is equal to 36. All right, so with this problem, what I actually want to point out to you guys is take a look at how it's ordered. Notice in our other examples, when we have these problems, they're lined up. And what I mean by that is, first column, I have x and x. Next, I have y and y, equal sign and equal sign, and number and number. So everything was lined up. And you'll see that too in our first example that we did here. Again, we have x and x, y and y, equal sign, and then number, number. So that's actually the form that we want our systems in. We want them to be lined up. And so in this last example right here that I just wrote down for you guys, notice that they're not. Notice in this first column I have x and y. I have y and x, equal sign is correct, and number is correct, but the order isn't right. So in the case that this happens, you actually want to make sure that you rewrite it. So I will write this down, rewrite. And so let's go ahead and do that. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to keep the first one the same. 11x minus 20y is equal to 28. All right, what I need to do though is I need to switch the second one so that it's in order. So what you'll notice is that 3x here is positive, so I'm going to put that first. So 3x. All right, notice here my 4y. 4y is also positive. So when I put that there, 4y, make sure to put the plus sign to show that it's positive. Equal sign is going to stay where it is, and then 36. So again, you just want to make sure that you line up those terms so that everything matches. All right, then from there, now we're going to use our elimination. Oops, that's not even how you spell eliminate, guys. So we're going to eliminate. All right, and so again, to eliminate, you want to take a look at your x's and your y's and see what can I change them to so that they're the same. So for example, when I look at my x's here, I have 11x and 3x. So I could change them to 33, but I would have to multiply the top by 3 and then the bottom by 11. All right, if we take a look at the second column, I have a negative 20y and a positive 4. So the factor that you can change both of these into would be 20. And so actually in this case, I would only have to multiply one of my equations, the bottom one. So that's actually going to be your best choice here then, because it's less work. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's eliminate the y's here. So again, you kind of have to play with those numbers and look ahead to see what's going to cancel out. So the first one is actually going to stay the same. 11x minus 20y is equal to 28. But it's the second equation that I want to change. So I need to make this 4y into 20 so that it cancels out with that negative 20. So think ahead, kind of what's going to multiply by 4 to get me there. And hopefully you're saying 5, Miss K, because if you did, you were correct. So I would multiply everything by 5 here. That's going to give me then 15x. 4 times 5 is going to give me that positive 20y. And then equal to, and then you might have to do some math here. So 36 times 5 is going to be 180. So is equal to 180. Okay. All right. From there, now again, we know we have this big addition problem. All right. Be careful here. So again, look at those signs. I have a negative 20 and a positive 20. Opposite signs cancel each other out, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So that's going to cancel. Now combine, so I have 11x plus 15x, that's going to give me 26x, is equal to 180 plus 28 is going to be 208. All right now it's 26 times x, so to undo that times, we're going to divide on both sides by 26. Cancel. When you do that, you're going to be left with x is equal to 8. All right, but again, sadly, that is only half of our answer. So you do have to go back and plug that in. So remember, you can go with the original. You can go with the second. You can go with our newly rewritten here. Any of them would give you the same answer. This time, I'm going to go ahead and go with the second choice, just because those numbers are a little bit smaller. So 4y plus 3x is equal to 36. Plug in that value of x that you found here. So 4y, and again, be careful where you're plugging it into. This is x equals, so you're going to plug it into x. 3 times 8 is equal to 36. All right, 4y plus 24 is equal to 36. If it helps, set that up. We need to isolate y, so y is going to stay. We're going to do the opposite and move that 24 over to the other side. All right, 4y is equal then to 12. Divide on both sides. You're going to end up with y is equal to 3. All right, so final answer then for this problem is that ordered pair 8, 3. And remember, we write it as that x and y points. Good. So again, work on some of that. Look to make sure that everything is lined up first. And then again, work to practice canceling out a term. All right, we'll take a look at 2 last things before I call it a day with you guys. Let's go ahead and write those down. This one we're not going to solve all the way. I want just to see, hopefully, if you can solve it, or again, figure out which term needs to be eliminated. For this problem, let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's do 10x minus 9y is equal to 46. For our second equation, let's do negative 2x plus 3y is equal to 10. All right, and you guys can go ahead and take maybe a minute, figure out which term you would want to cancel out. And depending on which term you chose to get rid of, either x or y, if you were getting rid of y, you would have multiplied the bottom one by 3. What you would have saw is that your y's would have canceled. Negative y, 9y, and positive 9y would cancel. If you chose to get rid of x's, you would have probably multiplied the bottom one by 5. You'll notice that 10x and negative 10x would cancel there. All right, and if any of you continued on and tried to solve this problem, your answer here would have been the ordered pair 19, 16. So x was 19 and y was 16. All right, guys. I'm going to show you guys one final thing then. If any of you guys would like to challenge yourselves, if you're thinking that this is pretty easy, I understand. And that actually has to do with multiplying both equations. And this will be our final example. All right, let's say we have this system. 7x minus 6y is equal to negative 1. And then let's say we have 5x minus 4y is equal to positive 1. All right, why this problem would be a little bit more challenging is unlike our last examples where we only multiplied one of the equations. For example, here we only multiplied the bottom equation. This problem here, you would actually have to multiply both. If you take a look at your numbers, in this case, everything is lined up. X's, Y's, equal sign, and number. But my X's, I have 7x and 5x. The common factor would be 35. So you would have to multiply both the top one by 5 and then the bottom one by 7. This one here, negative 6 and negative 4, you might say your common factor is 24. You might also say that it's 12. But again, what you would notice is that you would have to multiply both the top one then and the bottom one to get that common number. So this does happen. It is one extra step. And again, something that you guys could probably do. So we can go ahead and try this one together though. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's get rid of the y's here. And let's say that I do say that the common factor is 12. So I'm going to multiply this first one then by 2. Because 2 times that negative 6, or it's 6, is going to give me 12. So this problem then really becomes, okay, 2 times 7 is 14x. 2 times negative 6 is 12y. And then that's equal to 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. All right, on the bottom though, again, so this one I would have to multiply both. I'm looking to cancel out y. So currently right now, I have a negative 12y. And right now, I have a negative 4y here. So in order for them to cancel out, remember, they have to be opposite. So I would need that to become 12y. So what you have to do is kind of think to yourself, what am I going to multiply this negative 4 by so that it becomes negative 12? Or, I'm sorry, not negative 12, positive 12, because we need it to cancel out. So in this case, I would have to multiply it by a negative. I would multiply by 3, because that would make it 12. But a negative 3, because those double negatives is going to turn it positive. So in this case, this would be negative 15x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is going to be positive 12y. And then is equal to negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. All right, and then again, you'll see here in this middle part, let me erase this first highlight. Now I have opposite signs, positive 12y and then a negative 12y. And so those can cancel because, again, they are opposite in sign. They cancel each other out. Remember, this is a giant adding problem. So 14x minus 15x is going to give me a negative 1x is equal to negative 2 plus negative 3, so negative 5. Remember that invisible negative 1 is right there, so divide out by negative 1 to cancel those out. And so x would be equal here to 5. All right, and then again, this time you actually have a couple different options where to plug in your answers. So you can plug into the first one here. You can plug into the second one here. You can plug into any of your newly rewritten ones as well, and you will get the same answer. Final answer here, though, ends up being the 0.5 for x that we just solved, and then 6 as your y value. So again, that is when you have to multiply both. Your homework actually is going to be more like this problem and like this. So your takeaway is this though, guys. So always look to make sure that your terms line up. The x's, the y's, the equal sign, and the numbers. The second thing then is you do have to kind of manipulate one of those equations so that you can cancel it out. And remember, we want it to be opposite sign. So look for that opposite sign. All right, hopefully this helped, guys. Like I said, I know it sucks that we're not in class together, but please let me know if you guys have any questions. I will post a couple of assignments for you to try in the Google Classroom. You have anything to say to them, Mr. Sherman?
Stay safe. Good luck.
Be healthy, guys. All right, bye. We miss you. And remember, turn on those notifications so you know when the next cool video is on.